Hey there, Chadi Bazzi here, and welcome to another episode of the Top Listing Agent Show. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to get a little bit tactical and a little bit very strategic in this episode. You can consider it more of a training than anything else. Some of you guys who've been following me for a while already know that we have a private Facebook community called Take More Listings Now. Facebook community, and it's free, and I'd love for you to join us if you haven't already become a part of it. You could simply go to toplistingagentgroup.com and request access. All you got to do is answer 3 questions. We let you in and you'll have access to some cool free real estate trainings. So in there, about a week or so, I posted a question, and the question revolved around objections. And the reason I wanted to post that question is because more often than not, the questions I get revolve around how do you handle this objection or how do you handle that objection. It doesn't matter if it's a buyer objection, seller objection, other agent objection. You got to get good at handling objections, because if you can't overcome the objections, then a couple of things are going to happen. Number one, it's going to cripple you out of not taking action. It's going to stop you from taking the actions that you want to take, because you're going to be so much in your head about what if they say this, what if they say that, what if I don't know how to answer this, what if I don't know how to overcome that objection. And if you can't overcome the objection, you're not going to take action. And or on the flip side, if you do take the action and you encounter the objections and you can't overcome the objections, then sooner than later, that is going to also prevent you from continuing to take the action. So what I'm going to say to you is what I would love for you to do, and this is something that we do with our students inside of our flagship program, Listings on Demand, is we say, look, for the next 50 contacts, the next 50 people that are going to pick up the phone while you're prospecting them, we want you to do the following. For every single person that does not set an appointment with you, we want you to write down why they did not set an appointment with you. So an example would be contact number one, this is why I didn't set an appointment. Contact number 2, that's why I didn't set an appointment. Contact number 3, that's why I didn't set an appointment, and so forth. After you've collected 50 of those, then you got the data of exactly what you're having a hard time overcoming. So then we run a little mathematical formula of like, how many times did this objection come up? How many times did this objection come up? How many times did this objection coming up? We tally those numbers up, and the one that came up the most is our biggest freaking damn problem. And that is the one that we begin to tackle. And then together, we draw up like 3 different ways on how to handle that objection. And all of a sudden, you got way more confidence, and you got way more conversions, and you're setting more appointments. The rest means more listings and a better business overall. So a couple of people responded, and I chose to go over here. The first person said, hey, I'm getting the objection because the market is shifting. People are saying, I don't want to sell anymore. Interest rates are too high. We'll stay in my current home instead of selling and buying. And the second one was, we decided to rent it out. We will get a better return. So I chose those 2 together to talk about for the reason of like, they're really the same objection in different words. Okay, because a lot of times you think it's a new objection. It's not a new objection. Like, really contemplate on it and think it through. It's the same objection in different words. So both people are saying, well, we currently don't want to sell right now. So how do you handle that objection? I'll tell you right now that it's not just about having like a little script, because it's different for every single person. To be a great salesperson, it's not just so much about the scripts and dialogues that you have access to. I mean, you've been exposed to scripts and dialogues for quite a while. I'd love to hear your opinion. What's your feedback been on using scripts and dialogues? And I'm willing to bet that if we actually run a poll and a survey on that, I'd say about 70% of the people will give a comment somewhere along the line of like, they don't work, they didn't work for me, it doesn't sound like me, they don't come across, authentically, etc. And the reason being it's going to work for the other 30% because it just matches their personality. And, when we're talking to human beings, sometimes we're just sitting down in front of a couple. It's a husband and wife, completely two different personalities. So if you have one script and it fits the wife, then boom, you hit the jackpot with her, but you hit a lot of resistance with the hubby and vice versa, because they have a different modality for how they think things through, for how they make decisions, for how they process information, etc. So we give you a specific framework to use, and that's it. It's just a framework, and then you fill in the blanks based on what do they want, why do they want it, what will happen when they get it, what will happen when they can't get it. So let me walk you through of how I would handle this objection. The first thing I would say is, I totally understand that currently speaking, you no longer want to sell your home. Boom. What am I doing? I'm getting on their side. I am helping them let their guard down. I totally understand that currently speaking, you no longer want to sell your home, and that might be the right thing for you to do. That's what works for me. That's what's worked for me. That's what's working for my clients. I bet you that's what will work for you. That's the first thing you want to do. The second thing is what I don't want you to do. I don't want you to say, well, why don't you want to sell anymore? Because even with the people I work with, when I first began to coach them on this, and we coach a little bit differently because our clients actually prospect in front of me live on a Zoom, and I'm listening to both sides of the conversation, and I'm coaching them on how to do it the correct way. Okay, and 9 out of 10 times after they repeat and approve whatever the client says, they say, why? Why is a dangerous question if not used correctly. Don't tell people, why don't you want to sell? Because now they're going to defend the reasons for not selling, which in essence, they're selling themselves even more on the idea of not selling. What we want to do is we want to go and take them back to motivation. That's what we do. We want to take them back to motivation. What is it in the first place? What is it in the first place that caused this person to meet with a realtor, do their homework, invite someone over, and actually contract, go into contract. I want to put my home for sale, have people come in, etc., whatever the scenario might be. Okay. So what we want to do is simply say something along the line of like, okay, so tell me, when you put your home on the market, what was important to you about getting it sold? What was important to you about getting it sold? See, now what are we doing? We're just having them telling us and having them go back in their mind, having them go back and relive that experience, having them go back and elicit that emotion of why it was so important for them to get that property sold. See, we as human beings, we forget, and a lot of times what we need is a reminder. What we need is a guide. What we need is a mentor. What we need is someone on our side to help us think something through the correct way, so we could either retract and or correct path or take a detour to accomplish that which we already wanted to accomplish from the get-go and haven't kind of gave up on. So, and there's a couple more layers that you could go to, but what I want to leave you with is this, okay? If the person that you're talking to and or the person that you are meeting with was an absolutely one of your favorite family members, if they were one of your favorite family members, someone that you will go the extra mile for, someone that you will do whatever it takes to prevent them from making a mistake, someone that you will do whatever it takes to help them achieve that which they are wanting to achieve, what would you say to that person? How would you consult that person? How would you coach that person? What advice would you give that person? How would you give that advice to the other person? That's exactly what I want you to do. Because when the person on the other end of the line, when the person on the other end of the conversation feels like who you are is someone that really cares about them, someone that took the time to understand them, someone that's taken the time, and putting in the research and the work to guide them without any expectations in return, not only have you just won over a new client, but you've won over an advocate that will lead you to many more clients down the line. That's the way of a top listing agent. Thank you very much for tuning in on today's episode of the Top Listing Agent Show. Please join us in our private Facebook group at toplistingagentgroup.com. And as always, hopefully we've earned a positive review and a positive rating from you. Please give it to us so we can continue to bring you value week in and week out. Have a great day. I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Bye-bye.